Hello everybody, I am delighted to be chatting to Diane Lightfoot, the very wonderful Chief Executive of Business Disability Forum. Diane, hello.
Hello, how delightful to see you, Kate.
Yeah, and wonderful to see you too. And I know, like many of us, you are getting excited about seeing thousands of businesses who will be celebrating the United Nations International Day of Persons with Disability and Purple Light Up on the 3rd of December, and how they're going to be taking part in the Leader to Leader gig that we have created. As you know, Diane, and we've spoken about this, one of the reasons why we designed the central gig as we did is to make it easier for ERG leaders, disability ERG leaders, to speak to their chief executives. And we've encouraged them to create their own videos, made by their own companies, and really to get into conversation with their chief executives or indeed other senior business leaders about the qualities of great leadership and the progress that's being made on disability inclusion. As ever, you are so supportive of the Purple Light Up movement as an instrument. Can you tell us a little bit about why you're so supportive?
Well, firstly, hasn't it come around quickly? I can't believe it's almost upon us. And, you know, I love that Purple Light Up is such a positive and celebratory movement. So, you know, we create change by examining mistakes and identifying gaps, but we also accelerate change when people feel valued and galvanised by the contribution that they make to the working world, and also that we track successes and we celebrate the gains that we've got. I'm really delighted that the theme is leadership. I mean, it's so important. We see it time and time again. And ERGs as well are such a huge and rich source of expertise. You know, we talk a lot about inclusive design and user involvement, and where better to learn than from your own ERG. And we know that when those links are made between people with lived experience and decision makers, though a note, I would hope that they're not mutually exclusive. That's when real change can happen. And we can use moments like Purple Light Up to start a conversation. I mean, lighting up buildings purple is a great way just to get people talking, and then to go beyond that to drive real and lasting change.
Wonderful, wise words, Diane. You know, as you know, this year we've very deliberately designed a campaign that offers an opportunity for disability ERG leaders to, you know, pick up the phone or zap an email to their chief executive or their senior business leaders to take part in leadership conversations. And of course it fits squarely with our mission to develop the ERG movement across the world, but also to build the leadership capacity of those change agents. And for some, what we're hearing is that it's offered them an opportunity for the first time, really, to showcase their work in front of their chief executive. Now, you at BDF have always worked with remarkable chief executives and C-suite leaders. So I suppose my question is, you know, what do you see are the key characteristics of quality leadership when it comes to those that are really leading the march when it comes to disability inclusion?
I think the first thing I'd say is being really visible, and that means talking about disability, and that goes such a long way into normalising the conversation and making it feel safe for others to talk about it too and ask what they need. And we know that senior people and what they do and what they say has a disproportionate impact, and they really set the tone on what's important around here. Then I think some of the leaders who do it brilliantly, particularly through the power of personal storytelling, I would shout out to Ian Stewart, CEO of HSBC UK, who talks really powerfully about his adult disabled children, and he's unequivocal that anyone who doesn't get it right for them is missing out on a huge ton of talent. I think alongside that is also the courage to take risks. We know that senior leaders worry about getting it wrong, but the best feel the fear and do it anyway. And I had a great chat with Alini Santos Farhat at Unilever a couple of weeks ago, And she said, "You will get it wrong, just don't make a habit of it," which I loved. And I think the key, though, is intense and genuine desire to listen and to learn from your people. And then finally, you know, I think in the pandemic, we have seen a kinder, more human, more accessible and kind of literally more visible leadership. You know, we've seen in each other's homes. So let's not lose that humanity. And for you work with a ton of leaders as well. So what do you see as the key leadership traits among the Purple Space, ERG and network community? You know, those who are really leading the march.
Oh, it's a great question, Diane. And, you know, you shared some fantastic characteristics of great people. You know, weirdly, to a certain extent, those traits are exactly the same. And, you know, we often talk about, you know, working the other side of the same coin. You know, for us, we see disability ERG leaders who have the ability to move outside of their comfort zone. You know, they're invariably individuals who are doing proper jobs within their businesses, but they choose to lend their passion and their intent to drive systems change. So they're often prepared to move out of their circle of influence. Secondly, I suppose they choose to speak truth to power. You know, they often find ways of sometimes sharing difficult information with their business leaders in a way that doesn't disrupt or disrail great working relationships, but instead makes it easier for people to be galvanized behind a common cause. And I think, you know, lastly, it's about the skill in being authentic. You know, many of our disability ERG leaders, not all, but a good proportion, will have a lived experience of disability. And sometimes that's about being authentic. Sometimes it's about sharing aspects of our vulnerability and being prepared to be who we are in the context of work. So yeah, lots of similarities in those traits. So look, I know you are so excited for 3rd of December. You're doing great things at BDF. You know, we call it a cacophony of conversations that are going to be out on the airwaves. So we're looking to bombard the social media airwaves this year, as we always do. We've got some fantastic companies taking part, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, HSBC, who you mentioned, Network Rail, Eli Lilly, Anglo American, Fidelity International, they go on and on. Unilever, I'm going to miss many, and many, of course, we share in our memberships. I am dressed in purple. I've got a necklace on. I can see you are bedecked in purple. I love it. Yes, we're getting.
Yeah, I am.
For the big day.
Spirit.
But look, as we close, Diane, let me say on behalf of the Purple Space community a huge, huge thanks for your own personal leadership and that of BDF and your members. You do remarkable work. I know we're going to see you in the cyberspace as we go towards, like the clappers, the 3rd of December. I know you have your Disability Smart Awards ceremony coming up. I think it takes place virtually on the 2nd of December.
Yep, that's right.
So head to the BDF website if you want to hear more about that. I know many are welcome. And of course, you're going to be celebrating the launch too of your own new toolkit. Remind us what it's called, Diane. It's going to be brilliant.
Well, thank you, Kate. It's going to be called Disability Essentials, and it's available to everyone, open source. You don't have to be a member. So yeah, visit our website, have a look. And the award ceremony is also free. So come along to that. The more, the merrier.
Wonderful. Diane, you are a dear heart. We will see you very soon. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you in the lead up.
Thanks, Kate. Bye.
Bye.